hi.
Perm, the city in the east of the European part of Russia in the Urals, on banks of the river of Kama, is lower than confluence in her of the Chusova River, the administrative center of Perm Krai and the Perm district, the transport hub on the Trans-Siberian Railway, river port, has the status of the city of regional value and the city district. Large diversified industrial, scientific and cultural center of the Urals. The population -1,049,199 people. 2021. The city is founded in 1723, in 1940, 1957 Molotov was called. In 1916 in Perm the university, the first in the Urals, was open. A decree of the President of the Russian Federation of July 2, 2020 to the city gave the rank City of Labor Valor. Etymology. The name of the city belongs to a feminine gender. Only at a turn of the 18th-19th centuries sometimes the word Perm in official documents was put in a masculine gender, Perm. It inclined so. Perm, perma to Perm in Perm. For example, the plan of the provincial city of Perma. The word Perm is for the first time mentioned in the story of temporary years, in the undated part created in 1113, and his origin is a subject of scientific discussions. According to modern Finno-Groved, go back to this word, etc. Russian Perm, Perm. Scant. The Yarmaland, which initially designated a certain Baltic Finnish territory on the coast of the White Sea. In process of old Russian colonization, the toponym Perm moved on the east and was postponed for ancestors of Komi-Syrians. Perm Vychegda. And then in Komi Permiaks. Perm Great. From the Komi Parma, the sublime place overgrown with the fir forest, the assumption stated in the middle of the 19th century. Nax Fassimer notes phonetic difficulties of this version. Till the 18th century the toponym Perm was used for designation of certain territories. Perm Great, Perm Vychegda. And also some settlements. For example, at S. Gerbristin it is told that there is a great and extensive Permia area and in her there is a city of the same name. From a toponym Perm there was a geological term Perm. Permian period. Entered by Roderick Murchison in 1841 by results of his expedition across Russia, in particular on the Perm province. Geographical location. The city of Perm is located in the east of the European part of Russia, on banks of the river of Kama, to the south from the mouth of the Chusova River. Extent of Kama within city line of Perm is about 60 km. From the mouth of the Lasvi River to the mouth of streams of Azovo and Glushet, the right inflows of Kama. Thanks to Kama, Perm is connected by waterways with 5 European seas. Caspian, White, Black, Azov and Baltic. The area of the territory of Perm is about 800 km. Relief within the city, the Skolmlyany plain in the valley of the Kama River. The left coast is higher than right, is stronger dismembered by ravines and ravines. Characteristic of the city, a set of the small rivers flowing mainly on numerous city ravines. Perm is in our zone +2. Shift of the applied time concerning Utes is +500. According to the applied time and geographical longitude, average solar midday in Perm comes at 13:15. Climate of Perm, moderately continental. Longitude of day changes from 6 to 18 hours 11 minutes. Approximate values during solstices. Average monthly humidity of air from 60% in May up to 84% in November. Average annual -75%. Annual rainfall is 638 mm. The maximum quantity of rainfall usually falls on June-August, and minimum for February-March. In the winter the average height of snow cover can reach 60 cm. The insignificant quantity of snow can sometimes drop out also during the summer period. The city makes strong thermal impact on the environment, therefore the climate of the city differs from a residential suburb in more high average annual temperature. The climatic records registered in Perm. The most high temperature, +37.2 C. August 1936. The lowest temperature, 47.1 C. December 1978. The highest amount of precipitation per day, 63 mm. June 1960. Hydrography. Besides the large rivers flowing across the territory of Perm, and Chusova, in the city there is a large number of the small rivers entering the basin of Kama. In total within the city more than 300 rivers and streams flow. The largest of them, Mulink Agashik, Yagashik, Big Matavalik in the Kama left bank, Geva, Lasta in a right bank. By the number of the small rivers, Perm is a champion among the cities of Russia. Proceeding across the territory of the city, these rivers come under the strong anthropogenic influence, having an impact on their ecological state. Water quality worsens at the movement from a source to the mouth. On the chemical composition it changes from the first class to the third. The worst water quality in lower reaches of the rivers Egoshiki and Aneliki. Water is non-drinkable there. The total area of city forests in Perm occupies nearly a half of the urban area. The woods not only surround urban development, creating a green ring within city line, but also certain massifs, forest parks are located in residential quarters. The maintenance of city forests carries out the municipal public institution. MP. Perm City Forest Area. Pollution and conservation. Well-developed industry of Perm Krai and existence of large enterprises in the city create environmental problems of the region, which reasons both technogenic pollution and insufficient management of nature protection activity. History. The territory in which the city of Perm is located is populated with people since the most ancient times. In the city more than 130 archaeological sites from the Stone Age. Agashik's parking. Before the late Middle Ages are studied. In the 17th century these lands belonged to merchant Stroganov. The first documentary mentions of settlements in the territory of the historic center of the city occur in census books by the voivode Prokopy Yelizarov in 1647 on Stroganov ancestral lands. There it is mentioned repairs on the river on Kam and on the Agoshik River. According to a census of 1678, in the village of Egoshika there were already 7 yards and 28 male souls, generally surnames of Bryukhanov, Verkalantsov and Fedotov lived. Foundation of the city. In 1720 by order of Peter I, the Captain Lieutenant of Artillery Vasily Nikitich Tadishchev went to the Urals for construction of the plants on smelting of copper and silver. He chose for construction of the copper smelting plant the place near the mouth of the small river Igoshiki thanks to availability of copper ore and a comfortable position for export of products on the navigable rivers. In 1722 the Major General of Artillery George Wilhelm de Gannon, who approved the project and disposed about preparation for construction of the plant, became Tadishchev's successor as managing director of the plants. Tadishchev was present at laying of the plant. In the manuscript, the description of the Ural and Siberian plants. 1735 5.1 De Gannon wrote, and by his definition the Lieutenant General, this plant it is begun to build May of the 4th day 1723 and constructed till January 1724. Start date of construction of Yagashinsky of the copper smelting plant -4 is considered on May 15, 1723 since 1995 official initial date of history of Perm. Provincial Center. The Empress Catherine II, carrying a title of the Perm Princess, signed on November 16, 1780 the personalized decree by which it was ruled to transfer the Igashinsky plant to Treasury and, considering advantage of his location, the city provincial for the Perm Namestnichestvo was recommended to appoint in this place, having nominated it the city of Perm. In the summer of 1781 construction of buildings for the deputy, for offices and a card room near the Peter and Paul Church, which was renamed on August 12 into cathedral, was hastily conducted. The ceremonial opening of the city in Namestnichestvo was held on October 18, 1781. The merchant from Kunga Mikhail Abramovich Popov was elected the first mayor. According to the decree of the Emperor Paul I of December 12, 1796, about new division of the state into provinces, the Perm Namestnichestvo was transformed to the Perm province with the center in Perm. Karl Fyodorovich Moderik, holding this post till 1811, was appointed the governor. Among his other merits, historians note the planning of streets of Perm developed by him. The construction plan of Moderik was carried out within all the 19th century. His construction works came out far away from the city. Without costs for treasury and without aggravating inhabitants, it finished roads to the perfection, surprising the foreigners seeing the highway of France and England. Item in Perm, the management of the state mountain plants on the Urals on the basis of the new provision of 1806 was founded. Having become the provincial center, Perm became also the center of the Perm diocese formed in 1799. In 1861 in the city the telegraph was open. In 1863 on Sibirskaya Street experiment on lighting is for the first time made by kerosene lamps. In 1876 the first specialized bookstore, which actual owner was a participant of the Polish revolt Joseph Piotrowski, banished and who served sentence on penal servitude and after that got permission to lodge in Perm, was open. Only named to him as to the former convict, it was impossible to open shop, therefore it was open, addressed to the wife, and I worked under the sign Olga Petrovskaya. At Nikolai Efimovich Andreevsky. 1870-1878. Governorship in Perm gas lighting. 1873. Was arranged the Perm Real School. 1876. Is opened. The end of the 19th century became in Perm the period of active railway construction. On August 24, 1878, opening of the site of the Ural Railroad from Perm to Chusovskaya took place, and all line Perm, Kushva, Yekaterinburg was put on October 1, 1878 into operation. In 1897-1898 the Perm-Kotlas Railroad, which connected the Ural Railroad to a railway system of the European Russia, was paved. At the end of the 19th century in Perm, institutions of art and culture actively developed. In 1874 construction of opera and ballet theatre began. In 1896 the first institution for demonstration of cinema appeared, Illusion Electrotheater. In 1902, with expert support of A.S. Pope of studying in due time in the Perm Theological Seminary in Perm, electric lighting on streets appeared. From 7 projects of power plant submitted to Pope for consideration, the project of the engineer of Union B. by Getson was approved. Revolution of 1905. At the beginning of the 20th century, the population of Perm together with Motoviliki made about 100,000 people. In Perm there were few industrial enterprises. The most part of the population of the city, petty bourgeoises, merchants, handicraftsmen, officials and employees, was loyal to the existing system. But near the city the Perm gun plants where Erzurb conducted active promotion were located, and I enjoyed support of a part of workers. Among pupils of Perm there were also as sympathizing revolutionaries, and active participants of anti-governmental activity. Together with the representatives of the radical intellectuals who had joined them, these groups of the population became active participants of revolutionary performances of 1905. Events in Motovilik became on December 13, 1905 the culmination of collisions of workers with government troops. Perm and imperial persons. From September 30 to October 3, 1824 Perm was visited by the Emperor Alexander I with suite. Especially to arrival of the Emperor, obelisks Siberian were put in case, and having found the rotunda in the country garden is built. The apartment for the Emperor was located in the building at the corner of streets Pokrovsk and Siberian, where subsequently, after reorganization of the building, the Perm Provincial State Chamber was placed. From May 23 to May 25, 1837 in Perm there was in transit a successor Crown Prince, future Emperor Alexander II, accompanied by the tutor famous poet 5a. Shukovsky. Crown Prince stopped in the governor's house, which was then on the square at Peter and Paul Cathedral. From July 9 to July 11, 1873 in Perm there was journey a Grand Duke Alexei Alexandrovich. In memory of his stay in the city, the Perm Alexievsky Real School was open. On June 11 and 12, 1887 in Perm there was a Grand Duke Mikhail Nikolaevich with the son Sergei Mikhailovich. They visited charitable and educational institutions of Perm, Motovilika plant, and reviewed local battalion. In the presence of the Grand Duke, the building of the Marinsky Female Gymnasium was in a festive atmosphere consecrated. In July 1914 Perm was visited by the Grand Duchess Elizabeth Fyodorovna. In the city illumination was arranged, the triumphal arch at the corner of the Siberian and Peter and Paul streets is built. The governor personally accompanied the high guest on her trips across Perm Krai. In March 1918 in Perm, escorted by there arrived the car with the Grand Duke Mikhail Alexandrovich, his personal secretary and other exiled. All were placed at first in city prison, allocated to the Grand Duke and his satellites rooms for accommodation in the former House of Nobility Assembly later, and then allowed to live in Royal Numbers Hotel. In the night of June 13, 1918, Mikhail Alexandrovich and his secretary were kidnapped from hotel, taken out to the forest and killed with group of local security officers and militiamen. Their bodies are still not found. On October 26, 1917, news of the October Revolution reached Perm. The city council condemned on October 27 seizure of power by the Petrograd Council. On December 17 in Perm, the Provincial Congress of Councils of Working Soldiers Deputies and a part of country deputies, which proclaimed the establishment of the Soviet power in the Perm province and created Provincial Executive Committee, which chairman was a Bolshevik M.N. Lukhoyanov took place. To the announcement of Red Terror by certain representatives of the Soviet power. As in a case with Mikhail Alexandrovich. By her official bodies in Perm, a number of repressive actions was undertaken. In particular, for counter-revolutionary activity, the Archbishop Perm and Congrad Andronicus, subsequently canonized by Russian Orthodox Church, was arrested and killed. On December 25, 1918, parts of the Siberian Army of Radolegada entered Perm and after short collisions near the railway station, Perm-2, occupied the city. Delivery of the city and further advance of White Guards to the west were called in the Central Committee of Rock. B. The Perm accident. After the report of the Commission of the Central Committee of Rock. B. Under the leadership of I.5. Stalin and F.E. Dzerzhinsky. Command of the Raqqa East Front prepared approach for return of Perm. By June 20, 1919, the 2nd and 3rd Armies Red came two distant approaches to Perm, and on July 1 troops of the 3rd Army occupied the city. During military collisions, almost all water transport, all Kama River fleet and a part of Volga, was burned in port near the village of Lyovshino. The railway bridge through Kama is blown up. Civil war, military communism and the economic ruin accompanying them led to degradation of municipal economy of Perm and, as a result, to the sharp growth of epidemic diseases and reduction of number of the population of the city in the early 20s. In 1923 the city stopped being the provincial center as according to new administrative territorial division the Ural region with the center in Yekaterinburg was formed. Soviet period. On November 3, 1927 association of Perm and the industrial settlement of Matovilik to one city took place. In 1930 construction of engine building plant No. 19 began. Later the plant of Stalin, the plant of Sverdlov, nowadays Perm Motors Group. In 1931 Matovilik received the status of the independent city under the name Molitovo, and in 1938 again it was included in structure of Perm under the name of Molitovsky district. Now Motovilikinsky district. Following the results of the population census conducted in 1926, the population of Perm made 84804 persons. 39968 men and 44836 women. To a census of 1939. In connection with industrialization, the population of the city grew more than 3 times and made 306,000 people. By May 20, 1979, the population of Perm totaled 1 million people, that is in 50 years increased more than by 10 times. Increase in population in separate years was 15% and I was the biggest among all cities of the Urals. On March 8, 1940, the city was renamed by the decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of the USSR in Molotov in honor of 5M. Molotov, the political figure and the Prime Minister of the USSR in 1930-1941. In connection with his 50-year anniversary. The Decree of Presidium of versus Rusfers of January 18, 1941 formed Kurovsky district due to inclusion in city boundaries of Molotov of the industrial settlement of Zakamsk, the residential suburb of the city of Krasnokomsk and settlements united by the Zakamsk Settlement Council. During the Great Patriotic War, the industry of the city was reoriented on military needs. The engineering plant of Dzerzhinsky was transferred to production of ammunition and other means of defense, chemical plant of Ordzhonikidze, on production of chemical means of fight against the enemy equipment and raw materials for ammunition. The Milatovsky region became one of the main regions accepting the evacuated population and the enterprises. 124 industrial enterprises were transferred to the area, from them in the regional center 64 was placed. In the territory of engine building plant No. 19 the equipment of several enterprises of the similar direction was placed. In pre-war and military years in the Milatovsky region a large number of military units was created, including the 112th Rifle Division created with the headquarters in Perm in the second half of 1939. The 243rd. The 62nd Guards. The Milatovsky Armored Brigade of the 30th. 10 Guards. Of the Ural Voluntary Tank Case created in the city in 1943. In post-war years, Molotov as the large industrial center was included in number of 20 cities of the USSR which are subject to atomic bombing according to the Plan of War Mines to the USSR. The Plan of Totality. Developed in the USA in 1945 and also joined in the subsequent similar plans. On August 6, 1952 the Milatovsky Executive Committee of the City Soviet of People's Deputies made the decision on inclusion in city line of Mr. Molotov of the settlements of Soboli and the Line Mountain. In 1955 the construction of the Koma hydroelectric power station ended. On October 2, 1957 the name Perm was returned to the city. In 1958 the first stage of the Perm oil refinery is put into operation. Nowadays, NL Sluko Permneftechintas. In 1967 the construction of Communalny Bridge, the automobile and pedestrian bridge through Koma which connected the downtown with the right bank part was completed. On March 18, 1965 by the Rising -2 ship the astronaut A. Leonov made extravehicular activity, the first in the history of mankind. Before landing to Earth at the ship the automatic navigation system failed. P1. Belyaev manually oriented the ship and turned on the brake engine. As a result, rising made landing in the off-design area in 180 km to the north of Perm. After 2 nights under the open sky, astronauts were brought by helicopter to the Perm airport. The route in Perm, a part of the Kazan Highway, on which they were carried, was called Kosmonavtov Highway later. On January 22, 1971, the city of Perm is awarded with the Order of Lenin for successful implementation of the 5-year plan for development of industrial production. For years of the Soviet power in Perm, there were big residential areas, for example, City Hills and Balatovo. Komsomolsky Avenue is reconstructed, Kama Embankment is created, radical reorganization of Lenin Street is carried out. Towards the railway station Perm II. Such large objects as a complex of buildings of Polytechnical Institute are built. On the right coast of Kama, several movie theaters, circus, planetarium, the building of regional library of A.M. Gorky Central Department Store, or a lot of kindergartens and a nursery, schools, hospitals. The project of construction of the Perm subway is prepared. Post-Soviet period. Consequences of the All-Russian crisis affected different aspects of life of residents of Perm. In the city, as well as through the whole country, industrial outputs were reduced, there were delays with payment of salaries, etc. At the beginning of 1993, the budgetary war between the city and regional authorities broke out, and within several years I continued with variable success. Except long trial, the budgetary war was remembered, including arrival of the Commission of the Supreme Council, a strike of ambulance, interruptions in work of public transport and street lighting. On March 20, 1994, there were for the first time in post-Soviet history elections to the Perm City Council. And on December 8, 1996, the first direct elections of the mayor took place. Already in the first round, the victory was won by Yuri Petrovich Trutnov. He held this post till 2000. In the 1990s, Perm formally began to be called the capital of civil society. It is often possible to hear also the capital of the Russian liberalism. In the 1990s, in the city FEMKR and BEK, Eurograde, in the ORD achieved great success in the Russian soccer and basketball were founded. MKR played in Premier League. There was the finalist of the Cup of the country and the participant of the UEFA Cup, Eurograde, the 2-time champion of Russia. On October 21, 2005, the first turn of Krasovinsky Bridge, the new bridge through Kama 1736.95 meters long, was open. The construction of the second turn of the bridge is completed in September 2008. The end of the old years was saddened by a number of the tragic incidents connected with Perm. On September 14, 2008, over the territory of the city, the flight Boeing 737-500 plane Moscow-Perm crashed. 82 passengers and 6 crew members died. On December 5, 2009, there was a fire in nightclub which victims were 156 people, 78 suffered. At the beginning of the 2010 years, the new cultural policy of the regional authorities, which was considered by them as a basis for ideological and economic modernization of the region, became a cornerstone of social and political life of Perm of the end of the ORD. In June 2010, direct elections of the mayor of Perm were cancelled. On September 20, 2021, in the territory of Perm State University, there was a massacre. 6 people died, about 40 suffered. Districts of Perm.
Within the administrative territorial divisive edge, Perm is an administrative and territorial unit with the status of the city of regional value, which is divided into 7 intracity areas which aren't municipal units.
Districts of the city. Dzerzhinsky. It is founded in 1936.
Lenin.
1936. Sverdlovsk. 1936. Motovilikinsky. 1938. Ordzikitsevsky. 1940. Kirovsky. 1941. Industrial. 1972.
The settlement newly added as the remote residential district is included into city line of Perm and belongs to the Sverdlovsk intracity district. At the same time, he has own territorial authority of administration of the settlement newly added of the city of Perm.
2 rural settlements are subordinated to Perm. Adishchivo Station and barracks of 30 km. Within the organization of local government, the city of Perm with 2 rural settlements. The Adishchivo Station and barracks of 30 km forms the municipal unit, the Perm City District. Bodies of city self-government. According to the Charter of the City of Perm, which is the main regulatory legal act of the city, bodies of city self-government are Perm City Council. The Mayor of Perm, the head of administration of the city of Perm. Both names are equivalent. City Administration of Perm. Control Audit Chamber of the city of Perm. The Perm City Council is permanent representative body of city self-government, consists of 36 deputies elected by the population on the mixed electoral system. The chairman of the Duma is elected by the Duma from the structure A ballot. The Mayor of Perm, the head of administration of the city of Perm, the highest official of the municipal unit. The Mayor of Perm is elected by the Duma for 5 years from among the candidates presented by the contest committee by results of a competition. Since March 23, 2021, the Mayor of Perm is Alexei Daumkin, who is temporarily executing powers since December 15, 2020. The city administration is executive body of city self-government, which is headed by the head of administration of the city of Perm. He is the Mayor of Perm. The city of Perm has a flag and also the coat of arms approved by the decree of the Empress Catherine II on July 17, 1783, having the following heraldic description. In the dark red field, the silver going bear bearing the gold gospel on a back and accompanied at the head of a board with the silver widened cross. A city day is recognized on June 12 and it is dated for day of adoption of the Declaration on the State Sovereignty of the Russian Federation. Population. The resident population of Perm minus 1,049,199 people. 2021. For January 1, 2021 on population, the city was in the 14th place from 1116 cities of the Russian Federation. Population of the Perm City District. Perm, Adishchivo Station and barracks of 30 km. 1,049,206 people. 2021. Number of country people of the Perm City District. Adishchivo Station and barracks of 30 km. Dynamics of population. In 1979, Perm became the million-strong city. The maximum value of population by results of a census minus 1,090,944 people. A census of 1989. By assessment minus 1,100,000 people. 1991. After 1991 the population began to be reduced and by the beginning of 2004 fell below in 1 million a mark of inhabitants, having been 994.6 thousand people. Assessment of Rosted. Perm could return the status of the million-strong city only in 2011 when the population of the city made 1,672 people. Assessment on the national structure of the population of Perm on a census of 2010. Data on nationality were received at 907,955. 91%. The person from them. The Russian minus 823,333 people. 90.7%. Tatars minus 34253 people. 3.8%. Bashkirs minus 7729 people. 0.8%. Komi Permiaks minus 7301 people. 0.8%. Ukrainians minus 6507 people. 0.7%. Admirates minus 4847 people. 0.5%. Others minus 23985 people. 2.7%. Industry. Perm, the main economic center of Perm Krai and one of the largest economic centers of Russia. In 2003 Perm took the 6th place in the rating of enterprise climate of the Russian cities. In 2012 the rating of the most prospective megalopolises according to the Ruski Reporter magazine in which Perm took the 4th place is published. According to Rostet, operational and economic performance of Perm constantly increases. Average earnings in Perm in 2018, according to official statistics, minus 44,863.7 rup. This city economy is characterized, first of all, by the developed heavy industry. Leading industries: power industry, oil and gas processing, mechanical engineering, chemistry and petrochemistry, woodworking, polygraphy and food industry. On industrial output, Perm wins first place in the Urals, advancing Yekaterinburg, surpassing it in population, Chelyabinsk and Ufa on this indicator. In 2013 Perm took the 6th place in the rating of 250 largest industrial centers of Russia. Hydroelectric power station. Till 2014 in Perm there was head office TX-9 which part the generating capacities in the territory of Perm Krai, Sverdlovsk region and the Komi Republic were directly in the territory of the city. The Kama hydroelectric power station and 4 combined heat and power plants are located. No. 6 no. 9 no. 13 no. 14. In 2014 the TX-9 was a part of the T Plus company. The oil and gas processing industry is presented by the enterprises of Lukoil, the Lukoil Permnefterchantas oil refinery which included Lukoil Permnefrobotka gas processing plant in 2014. The affiliated organizations of Gazprom and Perm, the gas selling company, Gazprom Origingaz Perm, and gas distributing, Gazprom Gas Distribution Perm. In mechanical engineering, the considerable share is made by the enterprises of military-industrial complex. Main products: artillery systems, aviation engines and gas distributing installations, oil field and mining equipment, electric and petrol motor saws, communication equipment, road building equipment, river crafts, electric tools. The largest enterprises of the industry: Motovolica plants, Perm Motors Group, Perm Research and Production Instrument Making Company, Morian, and Poiskra. Nationastrutal Plant, Novamet, Perm Shipbuilding Plant, Perm Motovormantny Plant. The enterprises of the chemical and petrochemical industry produce varnishes and paints, explosives, mineral fertilizers, synthetic detergents, activated carbon and other products. The largest enterprises of the industry: mineral fertilizers, Siberkimprom, Halogen, Perm Powder Mill. The largest enterprises of the woodworking industry: timber, Red October, Perm House Building Plant, Sakamsk Furniture Factory, Dragon Tree, Perm Cardboard. Large printing production: the Perm Printing Factory of Gosnik Works, and it make documents of the state sample, banknotes, and not only for needs of Russia, but also by request of other states. In the city, several tens of the enterprises of the food industry are located. The largest: the Perm Meat Processing Plant, Dairy Plant Permsky, the Perm Confectionery, Kamskaya Confectionery. Nestle belongs. The Perm Plant of Sun in Dav. In Perm, one of the enterprises for production of bicycles, largest in Russia, Forward, is located. Market of financial services. For 2021 in Perm 54 banks, the majority of which extra-regional, local banks only free work. Uralzed, Perm Bank and Pakta Bank. The leader of banking services of Perm, the Perm Sberbank branch of Russia *1. The largest regional banker, the Uralzed. Besides Sberbank on assets enter 10 the largest banks of Perm: Alpha Bank, Dient, Gazprom Bank, Opening, Raiffeisenbank, Rossik Bank, Rosebank, Sovcom Bank and Unicredit Bank. In Perm, Cry broker companies Alpari, Teletrade, Finem, Skis and Forex Club, and also local investment companies, Vitis, and Perm Stock Company, function. Consumer market. In Perm, shops of a number of the international and federal networks are located. Metro Cash and Carry, Castorama, Magnet, Pitaraka, Tape, Sportmaster, Old Man Katabik M. Video, Eldorado, Finflare, Sella, Savage, Toy Store, Seventh Continent, cellular shops of federal networks, Svazno. Also the 36.6 pharmacy chain works in the city. In March 2015 the Perm's first Auchan hypermarket opened. Large local retail networks: Family, Lion and Coast. Retail network selling household appliances and Satanar electronics. Network of cafe of fast service of Alenvik. The largest shopping centers: Aurora, Iceberg and Iceberg Modern, Almaz, Long Live, Kostanidvor, Dominoes, Walkabout, Whale, Coliseum. Colosseum Atrium and Colosseum Cinema.
Liner, Mirabella, Peter and Paul, Planeta, 7 Fridays, Hypermarket, Semia, Specialov, Taveri Prakamia, Central Department Store, Chocolate, Planeta Shopping Mall.
Shopping malls, Carnival, Stolica. Thematic Shopping Center, Baumol. Trade and Office Center, Star Mall. Telecommunications. In Perm networks of mobile operators, Tele Russia, Rostelecom, Mint, Megafon, Beeline, Spermobile and Yotawork. At the Beeline company in the city, the largest center of client support, call center, is located. Since August 20, 2005, in connection with exhaustion of number capacity, 7-digit numbers are applied, 2 old figure 2 at the beginning of was added. As of 2013 in Perm, services of wire telephone communication are provided by operators. Rostelecom. Home phone number. Mints. Long distance international telecommunication. Beeline. Home phone number. Air Telecom. Internet.
Following the results of the I-Quarter 2011, the quantity of the households in Perm having continuous access in the Internet exceeded 250,000.
Level of penetration of services of broadband access, 69%. Is rather high in comparison with the all-Russian indicators. On types of connection, the Ethernet technology, 65.5%. Prevails. On penetration of high-speed fiber optic communication lines, Perm wins first place in Russia. Structure of a subscriber base of the market of Internet service providers of Perm. Air Telecom -55%. Mints. The home Internet, -28%. Rostelecom. The home Internet, -17.2%. Beeline. The home Internet, -5%. Other providers -2%. In Perm there is a headquarters of the Air Telecom company, entering 10 the largest telecommunication companies of Russia.
In 1994 in Perm, Gazprom, which became subsequently the largest operator of telecommunications services and the monopolist in the field of telephone communication of the Ural region, was created. *2.
Historical building. The 2-storied house to the address Klemenko Street, 14A. A typical example of wooden building of Perm of the end of the beginning of the 20th centuries. On the early construction plan of Perm, the drawing of 1782 of the Provincial Land Surveyor A. Gruber, constructions of the Igashinsky plant with the settlement and the planned quarters of the provincial city are represented.
Special merits during creation of planning of the city belong to the Governor K.F.
Moderek. He at the beginning of the 19th century defined the basic principles of formation of structure of the city.
As the majority of the cities which planning was created during this period, Perm received direct perpendicular streets and wide avenues.
For fire safety of distance between houses were big. All width streets were located parallel to comma and meridional perpendicularly. In January 1784 the plan of the provincial city of Perm was approved. The city developed in the pre-revolutionary period mainly along comma, but already to the middle of the 19th century many public buildings and houses of eminent citizens were under construction on Siberskaya Street. Disposed to Kama, it is perpendicular. She connected convenient descents to River Port and the Siberian Path. In general, historical building differs in a considerable typological variety. In 1764 in Perm, Peter and Paul Cathedral, Sovetskaya Street. The first stone, brick, structure of the city was constructed. At the beginning and the middle of the 19th century, stone buildings in the center of Perm appeared, as a rule, on the place of the burned down wooden buildings.
It is possible to tell that thanks to it the provincial city of Perm had examples of almost all architectural styles and the directions which had distribution in pre-revolutionary Russia.
In Soviet period in Perm, buildings in style of constructivism and a Stalin Empire style appeared. The housing estate and also industrial production and public and business quarters are located, generally in a left bank part of Perm. In total in the city about 1300 streets and lanes. In a right bank part of the city the largest city cemetery, Northern, is located.
At the total length of the left coast of Kama within city line of Perm about 30 km, the city embankment has length about 2.5 km.
There is an opinion that Perm was never lucky from the embankment. Really, near her the railroad complicating descents to the embankment runs, and the numerous industrial enterprises occupying the left coast of Kama pollute coastal waters.
Before creation in the 1900 years around the former Perm appears of the well-planned pedestrian zone, citizens and guests of Perm liked to walk on the top embankment of a park from Rechetnikov Square in a downward direction on the Kama current prior to the beginning of a zone of the industrial enterprises.
About 1.8 km. The railroad with a branch strip passing across the left coast of Kama was called the main problem in the reconstruction of the embankment, which dragged on in the 2010 years.
In 2017 there was information that with just Russian Railways, the agreement on elimination of railway traffic on the site from Perm to Kamjas with the indication of term to the celebration of the 300th anniversary of Perm is reached.
Residents of Perm speak against this project. In Perm there is the longest street in Russia east round, the extent of 22.6 km.
Gardens, parks and squares.
The Park of A.P. Chekhov. Esplanade. Central Amusement Park of M. Gorky. Recreation Park Bolatovo. Recreation Park of Kurovsky District. Walkabout. Square of the Ural Volunteers. The Square of the 250th anniversary of Perm. The Square of Mamin Sibiryak. The Square of F.M. Rechetnikov. The Square of Dzerzhinsky. The Square of Chenkel. Square of Pilots. Square of Winners. Oleg Novoselov Square. Theatrical Garden. Garden of Decembrists. Paradise Garden. Garden of Kirov.
Garden of Gogol, Mindovsky Square, Botanical Garden Penyu of Chinkel, Victory Park, Extreme Park, Transport and City Infrastructure. Perm, one of the largest transport hubs of Russia. This city holds a especially advantageous geographical location as is in the center of the country on crossing of a railway track from Europe to Asia. Trans-Siberian Railway. With the waterway of the submeridional direction to 5 seas. Railway transport. Perm is the largest railway junction of the Perm office of the Sverdlovsk Railroad. Earlier, the Perm Railroad of 50 m. Kaganovich. At the station Perm, the 2 train service is carried out in 3 directions. Western. Kazan, Moscow Street. Petersburg. East. Tungber, Yekaterinburg greater than Vladivostok. Mining. Iblarelskaya, Nizhny Tagil, Pryaby. The mining direction is in turn divided after the Lyovshino station into 2 branches. In the direction of the Yublarelskoye station and in the direction of the Chusovskoye station. There is a branch line passing by a right bank part of the city, on a dam of the Koma hydroelectric power station. Through Perm there pass the passenger trains connecting the central, northwest, Volgovyatka districts of the country with the Urals, Siberia and the Far East, Moscow with the capitals of Mongolia and China Street. Petersburg with the capital of Kazakhstan. Air transport. Airgate of Perm is the airport Big Savino having the status international. The main volume of regular passenger traffic is made along a route Perm-Moscow. Aeroflot Russian Airlines, SAS Airlines, UTair, Yaml carry out in total up to 10 flights a day to all airports of Moscow. Also regular year-round flights to St. Petersburg, Yekaterinburg, Prague, Baku, Dushan, Kuzhin, seasonal to Sochi, Krasnodar and Anapa are performed. Charter flights connect Perm with the cities of Turkey, Egypt, Thailand, India, Spain, Greece and other countries. The main carriers, Orenburg Airlines, Nordwind, Cuban. On November 30, 2017, after 2 small years of construction, the new Terminal Big was opened for Savino. Its area is 29,000 m, and the planned maximum passenger traffic makes 4.5 million people a year. It is planned the commissioning of the new terminal will lead to increase in number of the airlines making flights from Perm, to expansion of geography of flights. In Perm, the Bakarevka airport from where prior to the beginning of the 1990th years local flights to settlements of Perm Krai were performed is also located. In 2006 the airport is closed, and renewal of his work isn't planned. According to the master plan of the city, the territory of airfield will be given for the housing estate. Motor transport. To Perm there is an entrance from Highway ME22. The site Yelabuga, Ishevsk, Perm. In Perm begins Federal Highway PE22. Perm, Yekaterinburg. For the beginning of 2011 the city has road exits in next Admersha. 3. Bashkortostan. 1. And Sverdlovsk region. 2, one of which connects the city also with Tyumen, and the second will become a part of the Federal Highway Perm-Tomsk, Northern Width Highway.
The highway to border with the Kirov region, which will become a part of the Federal Highway Street. Petersburg-Yekaterinburg is built. The highway to Syktyvkar through Komi-Permyakov is constructed.
In 1996 were put into operation the automobile bridge through the river Chusovaya and the highway Perm-Berezhniki that allowed to connect in the shortest way to the regional downtown Verkhokimya.
Krasivinsky Bridge in the winter. In October 2005, the first stage of Krasivinsky Bridge, the new road bridge through Kama which allowed to unload the downtown from transit transport, is started up in operation. In 2008 the bridge is started completely and also the southern round which connected Krasivinsky Bridge to East Round is open.
Krasivinsky Bridge only partially solved a problem of communication of right bank areas with the downtown. The project of construction of the following automobile bridge through Kama was planned to be prepared by 2020.
From the considered 9 options of arrangement of an alignment of the bridge in 2017 remained 4 priority. With an exit to Gaidar Square. In Khrizanov Street alignment. With an exit to the valley of the river Igoshiki. In Smirnov Street alignment in Matovilik. In 2013 the governor of Perm Krai Viktor Basargin chose an alignment for construction of the new third automobile bridge through Kama, with an exit to Gaidar Square near the station Perm 2. The road to the new bridge was designed as continuation of Sovtsko Army Street through the Chernyevsky Wood. For this road it was planned to create the expensive transport hub with several extended road tunnels. The governor intended to open the new bridge within the next 5 years, though many residents of Perm support preservation of the Chernyevsky Wood, and try to obtain construction of the bridge in about 10 kilometers above on the Kama current, for the shortest automobile communication of Matoviliki with Top Kuryao, between which in summertime the river bus regularly plies, and in the winter citizens pass in this place Kama on ice. Perm is connected by buses and share taxis with many settlements of the Perm agglomeration, all centers of administrative territories of the region, and also Ishevsk, Votkinsk, Serapol, Nabrzhny Nizhnekomsk, Ufa, Neftkomsk, Orenburg, Togliatti, Yekaterinburg, Krasnoufinsk, Chelyabinsk, Samara, Cheboksary. On June 30, 2008 the Yushny bus station is put in operation after reconstruction. River transport. The Kama River flowing on the city is an important link of a uniform deep water system of the European part of Russia, in turn connected with waterways of the European countries. In Perm there are 2 most east river ports of Europe. Perm Port and Lyovshchina Port. From Perm it is possible to make transportation of goods to ports of the Baltic, White, Black, Azov and Caspian Seas, river ports of the big European ring. Through Perm there pass water cargo ways. From the cities of Berezhniki, Solikamsk river cargo transport transports various freights, generally mineral fertilizers and potash salts. Before Kam was one of the largest transport waterways, but with disorder of Kamsko Rekno Prokotstvo. Nowadays, just Kamsko Rekno Prokotstvo shipping company of the magnate Master of Arts. And Tonav. Navigation through Perm was considerably reduced. Perm is connected by tourist routes with street. Petersburg, Moscow, Rostov-on-Don, Kishi and the cities on Volga. From Perm the tourist ships, Vladimir Mayakovsky, Mikhail Kutuzov, Pavel Bozov, Kozma Minin, Alexander Fadiev go. City public transport. Young Lion Tram 71, 911M in Perm near Perm-2 station. Intracity transportations are made by buses, trams, share taxis and electric trains. Public transport appeared in Perm in 1926 when bus traffic between Motorvillaki and the downtown was open. On November 7, 1929 the movement of trams was open. The first tram line began near present Vostonia Square, crossed the Egoshiki River on the old bridge and passed on Lenin Street before crossing with the street of Kubyshev. The first tram park was in Razgulia. In 1930 the line from the street of Kubyshev was prolonged up to the railway station of 2 Station Perm. In 1960 the movement of trolleybuses was open. First line passed on Komsomolsky Avenue from Kommunistskaya Street to Komsomolskaya Square. As of February 2018 about 63 bus, 9 tram and 6 trolleybus routes and also 11 share taxis worked in the city. On July 1, 2019 the trolleybus movement in Perm was completely closed. The first feasibility study on construction of the Perm subway was prepared in 1982. Trust Lenmaprotrotrans. The first official plan of the Perm subway including 2 lines was published in 1982. Due to the difficult economic situation of the 90th year's design of the subway at first was suspended and then stopped. Bicycle movement. In Perm the bicycle network and the infrastructure accompanying her develops. The bicycle is of little importance in the city transport system so far and is in most cases used for entertaining and recreational trips. Nevertheless, the master plan of Perm adopted at the beginning of 2011 contains assessment of potential and advantages of the bicycle movement as one of types of city transport. The general plan provides development in the city of network of the bicycle movement about 750 km long. The master plan of Perm provides development of bicycle network in 2 phases. Improvement of the existing network of bicycle routes in the city center and introduction of bicycle zones in other districts of the city with providing their message with the city center. In 2009-2010 within implementation of the concept of development of the bicycle movement bicycle paths on the central streets of Perm and also in certain residential districts were organized. Science and education. Perm, large scientific center where a number of institutes of the Ural Office of the Russian Academy of Sciences, tens of research and design institutes, 7 higher educational institutions conducting various scientific research of applied and fundamental subject is concentrated. Some of the scientific organizations are united in the Perm Scientific Center or ORAN. The Institute of Mechanics of Continuous Environments and Institute of Technical Chemistry are his center. Higher educational institutions. Perm State University. Building No. 2. The beige 2-story building with basements. At a main entrance. A dark brown door. The coat of arms of the university and an inscription hangs gold. Perm State Medical University of a name of the academician E.A. Wagner. Perm State Medical University of the academician E.A. Wagner Administrative Building. Opening of the first university in the Urals took place on October 14. 1916. The first academic year the university worked as the Perm office of the Petrograd University, already on the basis of which in July 1917 the Perm University was open. Subsequently from faculties of the Perm University institutes were allocated. Agricultural 1930. Pedagogical 1930. Medical 1931. And pharmaceutical 1936. Offices of technical faculty were a part of Polytechnical Institute 1960.
In 1934, in the name of the university, the word state appeared, and under the name Perm State University and an abbreviation of CTs, it was known the most part of the history.
Perm Pedagogical University. Pedagogical education in Perm originates from the female Frabelewski courses 1917. Transformed in half a year to Frabelewski Institute. In September 1919 in Perm the Institute of National Education, and where students of Frabelewski Institute were translated, was open. On September 9, 1921 INA was transformed to Teacher Training College.
In 1922-1930 the Teachers College was a part of the Perm University in the form of pedagogical faculty, but subsequently was allocated an independent higher education institution.
1931. Again. Perm Polytechnical University. In 1953 in Perm. Then Molotov. The Molotovsky Mining Institute, on the basis of which in 1960 the Perm Polytechnical Institute, PP, the largest higher education institution of Perm, was organized, was created. Especially for Institute the campus, PP complex, on the right coast of Koma was built. On May 1, 1975 the Perm Institute of Art and Culture was created. During the post-Soviet period in Perm, as well as in all Russia, non-state higher education institutions, for example, the Ural Humanitarian Institute, 1993. The West Ural Institute of Economy and the Right, 1994. The Koma Social Institute, 2001. And others began to appear.
In general, development of the higher education in Perm during this period was characterized by Massachusetts' opening of branches of higher education institutions from other regions.
Academy of Painting, Sculpture and Architecture, the He, Row of G5. Plekhanov, Arenepa and others. And also increase in the statuses of local educational institutions. Technical schools and schools, 2 institutes. Their branches. And institutes in turn to the universities. 2 PEPU. And academies. PEMA, PGEFA, PESA. Since 2015, Rosobranadze strengthened control of work of higher education institutions, especially private. As a result of optimization of higher education institutions or withdrawal of licenses, they closed their branches in regions, and particulars in Perm. For example, branches of Modern Humanitarian Academy, Rudn Merbis, the Moscow Academy of Business at the Government of Moscow, and Gutu Messi were closed. Due to the reform of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in 2011, the Perm branch of the Nizhny Novgorod Russian Interior Ministry Academy, which began the history since 1961, was closed. Also, the licenses were revoked from a number of the Perm non-state higher education institutions.
Perm Institute of Economy and Finance, Perm Humanitarian Institute of Technology. With an education reform, the Perm State University and the Perm State Technical University was given the status of the National Research University. Respectively, they began to be called PENU and NIPU. The number of students in the Perm higher education institutions from 2010 for 2017 was reduced from 102,444 to 60,302 people.
More than for 40%.
The number of professorial personnel was also reduced from 4,607 to 3,570 people.
Almost for 23%. For the beginning of 2018 in the territory of Perm carry out activity of 13 independent higher education institutions. 6 institutes, 5 universities, 1 academy and 1 theological seminary, of which 11 have the state accreditation, have the right to issue the diploma of the state sample. Perm State National Research University, Perm State Humanitarian and Pedagogical University, Perm State Agrarian and Technological University of a name of the academician D.N. Krynishnikov, Perm State Medical University of a name of the academician E.A. Wagner, Perm State Pharmaceutical Academy, Perm National Research Polytechnical University, Perm State Institute of Culture, Ural Humanitarian Institute, the West Ural Institute of Economy and the Right, without accreditation, Social Institute, Perm Military Institute of the National Guard Troops of the Russian Federation, Perm Institute of the Federal Penitentiary Service, the Perm Theological Seminary of the Perm Diocese of Russian Orthodox Church, without accreditation. The branches of higher education institutions of other regions of Russia having the license for activity in Perm. Perm Institute, branch of RU of G5, Plekhanov, Renepa Perm branch, Ural branch of Russian Academy of Painting, Sculpture and Architecture, Perm branch of Higher School of Economics, branch of the Moscow Institute of Public Administration and Right in Perm Krai, without accreditation. Perm branch of the Volga State University of the Water Transport, the Perm Institute of Railway Transport, branch of the Ural State University of Means of Communication in Perm, without accreditation. Branch of the Street, Petersburg Institute of Foreign Economic Relations, Economies and Rights. Average educational institutions. School No. 9 of A.S. Pushkin with profound studying of physics and mathematics. 20 averages of special educational institutions. 10 technical schools and 10 schools. About 30 technical training colleges work in the city. One of the educational institutions of Prikamy, most known in Russia, is the Perm State Choreographic School. In 2014, the Perm Suvarev Military School of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation is opened. In Perm 156 high schools, from them work 10 gymnasiums, 10 lyceums, 1 cadet school, 20 schools with profound studying of objects, 2 general education boarding schools, Besides -1 elementary school, 3 main comprehensive schools, 4 evening. Replaceable. Comprehensive schools, 4 open. Replaceable. Comprehensive schools, 1 center of education. Total number of pupils -94112 people. Scientific and educational institutions. The zoo in Perm appeared in the 1920th years.
Since April 22, 1931 it is located in the territory of the Hierarchical Cemetery in a fencing of Cathedral Transfiguration Cathedral.
From 1990th years attempts of transfer of a zoo in more suitable, spacious for animals. The place are made. At different times the zoo was planned to be transported on Bratskaya Street. 100 to the Chernievsky Forest to Zakamsk, to the valley of the river Igoshiki. On September 2, 2015 the Mayor's Office of Perm suggested to construct a new zoo in the residential district of Nagonam, between streets. Architects Vyacheslav Karpinsky, astronaut Lenev. Here it is planned to place Bioparko, to create Victory Park, summer theatre, thematic attractions and training platform. To administration of Perm already repeatedly arrived to arrange well addresses of locals with requests the territory of this forest area, and many works are carried already up. The Perm Planetarium was constructed and put in operation on December 7, 1967. Till this time the planetarium had no room, and it was located in the Perm Regional Museum of Local Law, which by 1960 bought the special equipment. Then it was the only planetarium in the Urals. The dome of planetarium became one of symbols of Perm. Today the planetarium is one of the centers of natural sciences of the city of Perm. Culture and art. The Perm's first institution for demonstration of cinema, Electrotheater, appeared in 1896 in 5 M. Nikolaev's house on Bolshoyemskoye Street, nowadays Pushkin Street. Then he was called by Illusion, as well as many similar institutions. The city's first specialized building for Triumph Movie Theatre was built in 1913 on Pokrovskaya Street, Lenin Street. In 2017 in Perm 10 movie theaters, including 8-screen movie theaters, Cinema Park Coliseum, in Coliseum Cinema Shopping Mall and Cinema the Family Park, in Semya-2 Shopping Mall, 6-screen movie theater, Premier, 5-screen movie theater, Kinemax, in Stolitsa Shopping Mall and Kinedra Under the Open Sky in the Koma Valley, and also 4-screen movie theater, Cinema IMAX Crystal Park, functioned. In August 2013 in the Perm Gorky Park Virtual Prehistoric Oceanarium, the labyrinth consisting of 8 video screens showing the movie about life of ancient inhabitants of the seas, such as Megalodona, Liopleurodona, Cereziozavra, Notozaura, and others opened. Visitors are given at points. In August 2018 in the city for the first time there took place the All-Russian Youth Film Festival of Positive Cinema. The producer Natalia Zlegosteva and the head of youth film community of Perm Lev Kalamalin became organizers of a festival. To the middle of 2021 in Perm 5 movie theaters and 1 Kinedry work in the Koma Valley. At different times in Perm about 20 cinema halls at the same time worked. Philharmonic Hall,
The musical circle, organized in 1874 by the lawyer and the patron Ivan Pavlovich Dyatlov and the famous Perm cellist Konstantin Flegontovich Speransky, became the first musical community in Perm. In 1909, the singer Alexander Dmitryevich Gorotsov organized in Perm Philharmonic Society, from which one of the oldest concert organizations in the Urals, the Perm Regional Philharmonic Hall, originates.
In the downtown, between two largest buildings of administration, the concert organ hall of the Perm Regional Philharmonic Hall is located. Besides body, the hall is equipped with a professional concert grand piano, Stenvi. Art galleries. Perm Museum of Contemporary Art in the building of the River Station. The Perm animal style became a basis of art of tribes of central Prikami in the 8th-3 centuries BB. Lone and horn crests are issued by figures of birds, animals. This image of an elk, deer, horse or bird of prey is frequent. During era of the early Iron Age, not only material on which animal, bronze pins are represented, bracelets extends, pendants of Arivnia bear in themselves images of new animals.
Dragon, wolves, dogs, bears.
Motifs of the Perm animal style are widespread in the stylized products of modern masters. Exhibitions of the modern art are held in several galleries of the city. The most known platform, the central showroom. Besides at the House of the Artist, Soyuz Art, Maris Art and Green Art Gallery work. It is possible to look at works of the authors exposed in the city in the Perm Open Internet Gallery. Annually at the Perm Fair there pass art salons, Art Perm. In 2008, in the building of the River Station, the Contemporary Art Center was open.
The first exhibition, The Russian Poor, was open on September 25, 2008.
The works performed in style and art of a pover presented 36 Russian artists. Creative associations, non-profit fund of Sculptors of Russia, Unification, the Perm offices of the Union of Artists of Russia, the Union of Pictorialists of Russia, the Union of Designers of Russia work in the city. In Perm there are 13 museums and a set of installations. The most known museum of the city is the Perm Art Gallery, in which the world-famous collection of the Perm wooden sculpture is stored. The gallery is in one of the richest storages of masterpieces of the Russian iconography. A collection of Stroganovsky icons. In Russia, works of painting. Trurakhin, Levitin, Savrasov, Sarav. Collections of the Perm Regional Museum contain anywhere in the world not met unique objects of the Perm animal style, a Paleobotichesky collection of G.T. Maurer, fund of the rare book, ethnographic, numismatical and other collections. In particular, the staff of the Bishop Stephen of Perm is stored here. The Museum of History of the Perm Militia has a unique set of documents of 5. P. Wojnowski, the chief of the Perm Criminal Investigation Department in 1930, with which name connect blossoming of Criminal Investigation Department of Perm, and also unique documentary photographs, personal belongings of employees, their awards.
The central place in an exposition is taken by a memorial, Eternal Glory, with names of the dead on duty. The Museum of Motovelika Plants possesses one of the fullest collections of artillery arms in Russia. Slavinov's glass, model of arc welding by the metal. Melting.
Electrode, which for the first time in the world was executed in shops of the Perm gun plants, is stored in Memorial House Museum of N.G. Slavinov. In 2009, the Museum of Modern Art of Perm, which founder and the first director was a gallery owner Merritt Gelman, was open. In April 2013, Museum of Entertaining Science, Park of Scientific Entertainments, which interactive exhibits clearly demonstrate the principles of operation of various laws of physics, optics, chemistry, mathematics, opened, explain the nature of origin of the phenomena of the world around. In December 2017, in the restored buildings of the river station and the railway station Perm of the branch of the historical park Russia, My History was open. Besides, in the city there are a Memorial House Museum, underground printing house, the museum diorama on the Tower -1, during the Soviet period, the main city monument, the Museum of History of Perm State University, the Museum of Paleontology and Historical Geology of the name B.K. Polanova, the Museum of Theatrical Dolls at the Perm Puppet Theatre, the Museum, Diaghilev's House, the Museum of History of Communication, Perm branch of the Museum of Hydropower, Private Air Museum and others. Theatres. In Perm 4 state theatres. Perm Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre of Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, Perm Academic Theatre, TEAT, Perm Theatre for Young Audience and Perm Puppet Theatre.
Besides, theatrical performances are carried out on the stages of municipal and amateur theaters, among which became winners of the Theatrical Award, Golden Mask, in different years the Perm Theatre, At the Bridge, and Ballet by Evgeny Panfilov. The Perm Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre of Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky was founded in 1870 and is unique the fact that all scenic works by P. 1. Tchaikovsky -10 operas and 3 ballets were put on his stage. The theatrical company. More than 600 people. Actively goes on tour in countries of Western Europe and North America. Ballet troupe under the Tchaikovsky Ballet brand, Opera, Tchaikovsky Theatre. In the city, theatre festivals and competitions from which it is necessary to distinguish the international festival, Diaghilev's seasons are held. Perm Street, Petersburg, Paris, and open competition of ballet dancers of Russia Arabesque. The Diaghilev's Seasons Festival is held every 2 years since 2003 and aims at maintenance and development of traditions of the outstanding impresario and propagandist of the Russian culture Sergei Diaghilev. The diverse activity of Diaghilev connected with opera and ballet theatre, music, the fine arts, publishing acts as structural model of this multi-genre festival. A competition of ballet dancers, Arabesque, is held every 2 years. First Arabesque took place in 1990. The competition was traditionally headed by his artistic director Vladimir Vasilyev and the chairman of jury of a competition Ekaterina Maximova, since 2010-5. Vasilyev combines both of these positions. The purpose which is set before itself by a competition, opening of new names in the ballet. So, the Grand Prix in 1993 was received Morikero Ivat, subsequently by the soloist of the Bolshoi Theatre. In 1996 first place was won by Andrei Batilev, who became then the soloist of the Mariinsky Theatre. Nikolai Vyuzinin, future soloist of the ballet in Tokyo, became the golden winner of 2002. In Perm, the Perm State Circus, which building was built in 1970 in Motovilikinsky district, the city's works.
In Circus, the Circus Museum, which contains more than 15,000 exhibits works. In Circus, the famous troupes, for example, the Moscow Circus of Yuri Nikulin, both other Russian and foreign circus collectives regularly give representations.
The state list of immovable monuments of town planning and architecture of federal importance includes the following buildings and complexes of buildings in the territory of Perm.
Spiritual School.
1885, Architect R. 1.
Karvovsky, Gazeta Vezda Street.
18.
Marinsky Female Gymnasium.
1884-1887, Architect by O.
Butel, Petropavlovskaya Street.
23.
Space of Transfiguration Cathedral.
1798-1832, Architects M.F.
Kazakov F.M. Roslyakov P. T. Vasilyev I.
1.
Svayasev Komsomolsky Avenue. An Hierarchical House. 1793-1800, Architect G. H. Paulson, Komsomolsky Avenue. The Estate of the Merchant A. G. Gavrilov. The second half of the 19th century, the architect is unknown. Street of Kubashev. The Uspensky Convent. The 1870th, the 1880th years. Isn't present in his source. Church of Our Lady of Kazan.
1905-1908, Architect by
Skavronsky, Plekhanov Street.
39.
Kirilo-Methodievsky School.
1910, Architect 5. A.
Kendushinsky, Pushkin Street. 76. House of the Governor. Pryanishnikov's house. End of the 18th century, Architect G. H. Paulson, Sibirskaya Street. 27. Rotunda in the Gardens.
1824, The Architect I. 1.
Svayasev, Sibirskaya Street.
41.
Cathedral of St. Apostles Piet and Pavel. Peter and Paul Cathedral. 1757-1764, the architect is unknown. Sovetskaya Street. Church of All Saints. Vyksvyatsky Church.
1826-1832, Architect I. 1.
Svayasev, Takaya Street. 23. Sculptural monuments and monuments.
The state list of monuments of monumental art of federal importance includes a monument to 5.1.
Lenin in Komsomolsky Square.
1955, the sculptor G. 5.
Neruda, the architect I. G. Tereyev. On September 11, 2006, on Lenin Street before the Organ Hall, the sculpture, A Legend of the Perm Bear, was open. The author of A Monument, the monumentalist from Nizhny Tagil Vladimir Pavlenko.
The monument is made of an artificial stone and occupies the space about 3.5 m.
The Massachusetts of a bear -2.5 t, the monument basis -1 t.
Opening of a sculpture became the beginning of a number of cultural events within the Perm, the cultural capital of the Volga region -2006 program.
On October 29, 2008 the sculpture was removed. On June 12, 2009 put a bronze statue, but already in other place, near Ural and Prikamy hotels, opposite to Central Department Store. In June 2018 on Revolutsai Street, in the park of the residential quarter of Gulliver, the monument to the native of Perm, to the famous stage and film actor Georgy Berkov was open. The author of a monument, the Perm sculptor Alexei Zalozaev.
The honored actress of Rusfers Valentina Telizina, acting together with Georgy Berkov in many movies, took part in opening of a monument.
In October 2019 on Lenin Street the monument to Professor Pavel Preobrazhensky, who found in the Urals the first oil field, is established. In 2024 objects under the name Butterfly, Mother and Daughter, Angel and Birthday, which appeared following the results of the second season of the Perm Festival, were established. Book publishing of Perm is presented, first of all, by the Perm Book Publishing House. Except in work state, the Perm Book, cooperative and private Kopik, the Zakamsk side, the Book World, Gun, bilingual, Yuri 18, Italics, Mamatov, Zebra, Printing House of the Merchant Tarasov, Star, DDS, etc. The source isn't specified. 4067 days. Libraries and archives.
On January 4, 1836, according to the order of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, in the building of School of Children of Office Attendants, the first in Perm was open and in the Urals Public Library.
By the beginning of the 20th century, according to contemporaries, the library became one of the best provincial libraries in Russia.
In modern Russia, the Perm Regional Library of A.M.
Gorky remains one of the largest information centers, contains about 4 million documents, including books, periodicals, notes, maps, isomaterials, video and audio cassettes, CD, DVD, electronic databases, etc.
The Perm Regional Children's Library of 50.1.
Kuzmin.
Kiev 50.1.
Kuzmin, Sibirskaya Street.
11. The State Special Information Educational Non-Profit Cultural Institution, the providing library and bibliographic service of children and teenagers up to 16 years and heads of children's reading, which is carrying out consulting and the scientific and methodical help to children's and school libraries of Permkra. The library was created on the basis of Children's Department of the Perm Regional Library of A.M.
Gorky, which was according to numerous petitions of her Director 5. N. Panav in 1928. The decision on opening in the city of Regional Children's Library was made by the Perm Regional Executive Committee on October 19, 1965. Since January 1, 1966 it begins to function, and on November 20 the same year her early ceremonial opening for readers was held. Also in the city there are a city library of A.S. Pushkin, Children's Library of B.S. Zhitkov.
In Perm, 2 state archives are located. The State Archive of Perm provides storing funds with documents for the history of the Perm province and Perm region, and the Perm State Archive of the contemporary history, which basis of funds is made by documents on activity of political parties and public authorities of the Soviet and also post-Soviet periods.
Affairs of the citizens repressed in days of the Soviet power. Besides in Perm the city archive founded in 1993 works. Perm Cultural Revolution. On September 25, 2008 in Perm the exhibition of the modern art Russian Pour opened.
The exhibition became the pilot project for the Museum of Modern Art of Perm and served as a starting point of the cultural revolution in Perm.
A new cultural policy was connected, first of all, with Boris Milgram, Sergei Gordov, Merrick Gelman, Artemy Lebedev, Edward Boyakov, Fyodor Kerensis's names. The governor of Perm Krai Oleg Cherkanov repeatedly expressed the full support of the projects which are carried out within new cultural policy, and being an active blogger, at some point was one of ideologists and conductors of this policy. Besides the Museum of Modern Art of Perm connected by new cultural policy the Perm Center of Development of Design, the Perm Academic Theatre, Sen Animalot Theatre, the Live Perm and White Nights in Perm festivals. The cultural policy pursued by authorities was criticized as the famous figures, in particular, by the writer Alexei Ivanov, the director Pavel Pekyankin, and ordinary citizens. As a rule, the power was accused of ignoring of interests of local cultural community, preferring non-resident actors and artists. Raised a complaint questions of expediency of expenditure of the budgetary money *3 allocated for large-scale festival actions, ambiguous art objects, expensive statements.
After 2013 the opinion of opponents of the project coincided with a position of the new regional power and the project was winded gradually down.
Fyodor Kerensys worked in Perm Opera and Ballet Theatre till 2019. Massachusetts media.
Television and broadcasting in Perm is carried out from 4 television towers from which signal allows to watch TV channels and to listen to radio stations in the territory of Perm, Krasnokomsk and nearby vicinities.
Digital radio telecasting is conducted in DVB-T standard. RTOS-1 and RTOS-2 packages, with regional inserts. Broadcasting is carried out by the RTOS Perm branch. Cable telecasting is carried out by operators.
Telecom, Rostelecom, Minsk and Beeline which provide both analog and digital cable television. The basis of an air is made by programs of federal TV channels with which in partnership regional TV companies work.
State TV and Radio Broadcasting Company Perm. Broadcasting Company, oldest in Perm Krai. Rifi Perm, Beta, Yerlinform TV and Arab Perm. In the Perm World Cup and Air broadcast more than 30 radio stations. Development of broadcasting happens against the background of increase in presence of federal broadcasting networks and reduction of local radio stations. Since the Soviet period the network of wire broadcasting works. Press.
In the ranking of media of 75 largest cities of Russia, Perm took the 11th place on the cumulative weekly circulation of social and political printed media.
813,350 copies. And the 19th place on availability of non-state media. Several federal printing editions have own editions in Perm. Argumenty a Fakti, Business and To, Life, Kommersant, Komsomolskaya Pravda, Moskovskaya Komsomolets, Work for EU, Rossiyskaya Gazeta, Izvestia, the parliamentary newspaper, The Interlocutor, Perm Krai, The World of News, Telesum, Shrud. The regional newspapers which are issued in Perm. Business Class, File 02, Star.
Economic Capital Weekly Application. City News. Perm, new partner, Medical Telegood, Trade Union Courier, Friday Air. Mostly Perm media on the websites as information tapes. In Perm there are also representative offices of Interfax news agencies, TAC, the New Region, Regnum. Religion. In the city the following religions are presented. Christianity, including the main faiths. Orthodoxy, Catholicism, Protestantism. Islam, Buddhism, Judaism. The atheistic segment of the population is also widely presented. Since October 1998, the Interfaith Advisory Committee of Perm Cry were heads of the main faiths. Orthodoxy, Catholicism, Lutheranism, the Russian Old Belief Community, Judaism and Muslim. In common solve the general for them and the most topical issues of public, cultural and spiritual life of the population of Perm Cry works. Orthodoxy. Perm is the cathedral city of the Perm Metropolitanate and the Perm and Congo Diocese. In the city of 38 operating Orthodox churches and chapels, including Holy Trinity Cathedral, several men's and convents. Educational activity is conducted by 5 Orthodox Christians of educational institutions, including the Perm Theological Seminary, Office of Additional Katechiatorsky and Pedagogical Education at Theological Seminary, Regensky School, Icon Painting School, the Orthodox Classical Gymnasium and a set of parish Sunday schools. Old Belief. Perm Cry is one of the old belief centers. According to unofficial data, more than 100,000 residents of Perm Cry old believers or have old belief roots. Today the vast majority of old believers of Perm Cry live in northern areas, but Perm is the cathedral city, the center of the Ural Diocese of Rops. In Perm one old belief temple in honor of Stefan Velikopermsky works. Catholicism. After the Polish Revolt of 1863, 2 Perm Poles who professed Catholicism were banished. They also based soon after the settlement the Perm Catholic community, built the small temple which today the only Catholic temple of Perm. The Catholic community of the city actively does charity work, has a children's shelter. Lutheran Germans were the first Protestants in Perm. Today they make very small community. In Soviet period in Perm the Baptist Church worked in the 1990s. Many dicks of the Baptist community headed Pentecostal churches which conduct very vigorous missionary activity and take very noticeable positions in society. The most numerous Perm among the Protestant communities, the New Testament churches. Perm called the Pentecostal capital of Russia. Except the listed currents of Protestantism in Perm, there are communities of Adventists, Mennonites, Presbyterians and other denominations. Islam. In Perm Muqtasabat. Territorial government of Muslims. Of the city of Perm, of the Perm Muftiate, the Perm Cathedral Mosque and the Perm Muslim College, Tark. Way. Functions. Construction of the new Cathedral Mosque, New Afkula, is conducted. The Judaism in Perm is presented by ultra-Orthodox Habib Lubavitch and a reformist current. There are 2 synagogues. In the city there is the Jewish religious school. Except the listed faiths in Perm, Mormons, Christianates, Scientology, Pentecostals and other religious organizations are presented. The healthcare system of Perm includes 44 municipal authorities of healthcare where medical care to the population is provided by 4,800 doctors and 7,200 nurses.
Rendering stationary medical care in hospitals of Perm 57 24 beds of the round clock stay and 865 beds of a-day hospital at polyclinics are developed and also 244 beds for newborns at obstetric hospitals. Since September 2007 in Perm the Uniform City service of making an appointment with the doctor, so-called electronic registry, thanks to which it is possible to register an appointment of any district clinic by phone or on the internet.
Since October 2008. Works. Emergency medical services provided by Municipal Authority of Healthcare, City Station of Emergency Medical Service, as a part of which 92 round-the-clock mobile teams, from them 54 crews all profile and 38 specialized function.
Cardiological, neurologic, resuscitation, pediatric, psychiatric.
Crews are deployed on 9 substations located in each district of the city, including separately in Residential District Tower -2.
Also there are 2 branches. In the Residential District Proletarian and in the Settlement New Liada. One of the largest medical institutions of the city is the Institute of Heart, the NSS branch of ADAN. The Kulev of the Russian Academy of Medical Science specializing in treatment of cardiovascular diseases. Since 2012 in Perm the Bureau of Medico-Social Examination No. 133 of the MISPEB of Russia main bureau providing public service on conducting medico-social examination of employees of the organizations of separate industries with especially dangerous working conditions functions. Physical culture and sport. Dynamo Stadium.
As well as the majority of the large cities, Perm has the developed sports infrastructure including
stadiums and sports complexes. Avangard, Dynamo, Star, Hippodrome, Deva, Lightning, Hammer, Neftionic, Spartak, House of Boxing, Eaglet, Prikami, Euro, Energy, Youth of Russia, Youth, Chemist.
Pools. B, Olympia, Seagull, Pearl. Skiing lodges.
Dynamo, Hammer, Prikami, Morian, Ural. School of Riding of the Hippodrome. Extreme Park. In the city there is an ice hockey team, Hammer Prikami, playing in the Supreme Hockey League. The Women's Football Club, Avesta -2005, which 6 times became the champion of Russia in soccer among women's teams, achieved considerable progress. 6 times I was an owner of the Russian Cup, I was a finalist of the OA Cup. The handball team, Perm Bears, in 2014 won the Russian Cup on handball. The participant of Deent United League Parma Basketball Club became the owner of the Russian Cup on basketball. 2015/2016. In 2018 in Perm the football club, Star, originating since 1932 and disbanded in 1996, was recreated.
Among the Perm teams which dogged the existence, it should be noted the Eurograde basketball club created in 1995, which still is the only club which interrupted a victorious series of PB Seska in the championships of Russia.
2001-2002. In 2004 Eurograde won the Russian Cup. The club was disbanded in 2009 because of problems with financing.
The football club, Amkar, created in the 1990s, actually replaced with itself, Star, as the main football club of Perm.
MKAR achieved an exit in Premier League of the Russian soccer and played within 14 years, until the disbandment there in 2018. 2008 when MKAR became the finalist of the Russian Cup was the most successful for club. I took the 4th place in the championship and acquired the right to act in Eurocups. In 2020 MKAR was restored. The club acts in competitions of the 3rd League. The Prikami volleyball team. Till 2006 Yaroslavyan form. Acted in the highest division of the Championship of Russia on volleyball among men. In due time in Perm played football clubs, Dynamo and Arsenal. 5A side. Which acted secondly divisions of the corresponding championships.
Traditionally, representatives of Perm achieved good results at world and Russian level in track and field athletics, badminton, basketball, biathlon, boxing, handball, judo, cross-country skiing, table tennis, equestrian sport, swimming on open water, sambo, luge, sports orientation, figure skating, soccer, fencing, hockey, rhythmic gymnastics, chess, rock climbing, mountaineering, ice climbing, and also in types.
New to Russia, frisbee, arm sport, karate, kyokushin, kaiken, is skateboard, figured auto driving on ice. Autodances.
The graduate of the Permswasser star Konstantin Zirinov is called in 2007 the best player of the country.
In Perm there takes place a number of the all-Russian and international festivals and competitions. Arabesque. Competition of ballet dancers. Biennial. Diaghilev's Festival. Rockline. Flairtiana. Festival of Documentary Cinema. Annually. Sailing Regatta Cup of Comma. Sailing Championship. Annually. Russian Cup on a snow and ice sculpture, a winter opening day. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.